In the forecast section, this is where you set the default forecasting method for your account. This will affect all variants in the account by default. Please note, these two options at the top can be set at a variant level, so our recommendation here is to set the forecast method which will affect the majority of your items. The top two options we have here are to take into account stockouts history. This is enabled by default. With this enabled, we will assume that if your connected platform were to hit zero stock for any of your items, you would restrict the customer's ability to buy this. If you do accept back orders or pre-orders, we recommend that you disable this option. On the right-hand side, you can select the default forecasting method. We have three different methods that are available for selection. Our default is recent sales and trends, which will use the selected date range, which can be set here, to analyze the sales and come up with your forecast. We also allow you to set a trend count for the number of months which is set here. By default, this is 2, but you can increase this to make it less reactive. Our second method is last sales. Last sales will use the last number of days that is set within this field. Our recommendation here is anything from 7 days, 1 week, up to 60 days, 2 months. Our third option is seasonal. Using the seasonal option, we will look at the most recent 12 months of history and use that to come up with your forecast. Anything over this, we will then apply also a year-over-year growth or decline if we have seen this occur. You can also then restrict that year-over-year increase or decline depending on your preference. We do have an article that explains our forecasting methods in detail, which will be linked just below this video. When using a non-seasonal forecast, we also have the ability to apply a seasonal increase for non-seasonal products for Black Friday and Christmas periods, or Q4. With this setting enabled, which it is by default, we will analyze the sales that we saw last October. Then, in comparison to what sales we saw in November, if we see an increase, we will assume this is influenced by the Black Friday and Cyber Monday weekend. If we then see a further increase in sales into December, we will assume this is influenced by Christmas. If you wish to not use this, you can simply unselect this option. We also have the ability to exclude sales. By default, we will exclude sales for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and also a week before Christmas. If you wish to actually in fact take these into account, you can remove the check marks within these two settings. You can of course also add additional periods should you wish to exclude certain days or any date range from our forecasting. We also offer the opportunity to select a default replenishment value. As explained below, this will be a replenishment value for variants which have zero stock and no sales. This is good for new items that are coming into your business, which require an initial replenishment recommendation to order to allow you to then start to make sales. We also have a default minimum stock or safety stock. This is a static number which will be applied to your replenishment recommendation to ensure that you end your planning periods with the value that is set here. It is our recommendation that in fact you set instead a buffer in your days of stock period, which will allow for a stock buffer over time rather than a static value.